Ah, the sunrise. Welcome back to Purity Vanilla, and this is going to be the second episode. I was originally going to show some bases I found in this and that, and decided against it because I found a cool location that I wanted to build a base at. And that is here. I have always really loved chunk borders, so I think I can build something really cool here eventually. Oh, I'm backwards. But yeah, that's really the plan for now. I'm gonna set up something. There's a village nearby that I'm probably gonna use as well to get some of my stuff, and then we'll go from there. I wasn't really gonna show any mining, but I found this beautiful fucking cave under the base, and I think that's really cool. Oh, that's a little deadly down there, but it's just so pretty. So far, the mining, I've been getting a decent amount of stuff, and just kind of setting up the base a little bit, making a couple little crop farms. I'll show them whenever I go back up top. Yeah, it's not much at the moment, but I have started on the base. Good God, that's a big tree. I plan to put a couple more farms out here, and then eventually, after I start to get gear together, I want to start decorating and things like that. But for now, it's just kind of, it's like a basic shape where I know, like, I want these 7 by 7 by 5 rooms where they're 7 on each wall and then 5 tall. Right now, that's kind of the plan for the inside at the moment. And then farms out here and maybe other stuff too. I don't know. I'm still thinking at the moment. Oh, I like the way the shadows look. I think it's finally time for an update on the base. First of all, again, I always somehow do this when the sun's coming up, so we'll look at that. Because I actually really love that I accidentally lined it up like this. But here is the biggest thing I've done so far. Built a creeper. So far I think the base is turning out really good. I've actually built this statue on a different server before, and I think I built it the same way. I'll put a picture whenever I edit this, but thought it was kind of fitting. I'll probably mimic on the left over here and do probably another sugar cane and another one just to fit it, and I might start chopping down the cherry trees to try to get a different direction because I don't know, like these they seem all right. I had one grow that was like double on both sides. Like I think this one would look a lot better if it was doubled like that, and then maybe have both of them like that. Yeah, I think it's going good so far. On the inside, I've started an enchantment room. I've got a cactus farm because I needed green dye for the creeper statue. And let me tell you, I'm tired of making concrete. I am tired of making concrete. Concrete is not worth a damn. At some point, I'm gonna start decorating like the inside here, but I don't know exactly how I'm going to yet. Like I'm thinking to just keep the floor as the tiles, but I don't know, it might do better to switch to something else. I kind of like the natural stone look, but I don't know, I'll have to debate on it some more and see what I think about it. But I think every clip in this video is just going to be a daggone sunrise from right here. And I'm okay with that. I did get 2 of my big trees. I've scattered lanterns everywhere. I kind of like the way these turned out. I think they look pretty cool. I'm going to make both of these fields wheat to kind of... I think it'll make enough variance to make it look real good. I don't know if I mentioned, but this waterfall was original and this one I duplicated. Or I added. Duplicated, added, whatever. I ended up settling on some sort of design for the inside where it keeps the tiles, and then I put bricks in the corner and then the polished deep slate around the edges. It's nothing crazy, just something real simple. And I got rid of all my torches except for these 2 for some reason. Yeah, I think that looks pretty cool. And I did also notice, I think this is like the fucking underwater drowned things, but it spawned on the cliff. And it's not raining anymore. It's probably not very noticeable I've done anything at this point, but I had the head one block too short. You might be able to notice it, you might not be able to, but believe it or not, it looks a lot better. And you might see a shack up there. An ugly shack. I'll show you that here in a second. I've done slight decorations. I don't think this was here. I finished getting everything done in here. The walls feel a little empty. I'm gonna be honest, if you have any decorating tips, just kind of put them in the comments if this base is still here by then. But I kind of went with like, I also changed this with the stairs. That's the inside so far. It's changed. I can't remember. This room might be new too, since I showed you. But yeah, I've decorated the inside decently, and I think it looks pretty decent. I also made this ladder to go all the way up to the top. 3 hours later, we're in this little ugly shack, and believe it or not, I rebuilt that same ugly shack because, again, I don't know, I'm getting like the idea that I want a lot of my old builds to be at this base. That's why we have the creeper over there, and that's why I've put the shack up here. Which I'm gonna be honest, I don't fully like the way it looked from when I was looking out there, so. And I think it has more to do with it being right up against that, but we'll see if I do anything about that. Yeah, like I said, my plans are kind of trying to sneak my old builds into the base somehow. I don't know why I'm not walking down the ladder. I know I'm gonna eat shit and just kill myself jumping off there eventually, because it's a bunch of tight spaces, but it's kind of satisfying being able to just jump off. First of all, I love living in a chunk border. I've always loved those. And I don't think I've ever built like a proper chunk border base, so I think it'll be cool. And who knows, I might even like, I don't know if it'd look good, but like, it'd be cool to kind of have like a window to look out, but I don't. Because I don't know if I think it would look good. I needed XP, and I also need a good amount of bones for the white dye. So I built one of these old shitty mob grinders, and it works all right. But I've had one issue where I had to go up there because the entire thing only had spiders in it. I guess it capped out, which isn't terrible. It just was more of an inconvenience than anything. Now I'm getting to the point where I can get a couple basic enchantments, and then and like I said, I needed the bones for the white dye. And then I guess the next step for like max enchantments would be getting a couple villagers that were worth a damn. So we'll see about that. It's kind of funny because where it's up above an ocean, it makes me feel like I'm playing Skyblock. It's raining. There's some trees up at the top now. Trees at the top are kind of... They make it not look as empty up there. Anyway, I said something in the last clip about a room I was working on. And that would be this one. And if it looks familiar to anybody that's watched my videos before, this is based on the spawn base I have in Uneasy Vanilla, which I haven't logged in a couple months, but last time I did it was still there, which is pretty surprising to me. But yeah, it's based on the same thing, except the difference is the floor is obviously meant to match the rest of the base, and I ended up doing cherry wood instead of oak. I'm thinking this is where I'll put villagers, but at the same time, I'm thinking something like villager, villager, villager. Or was it? It might be out one. Anyway, I think it was something like villager, 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 like that. But I have the dilemma of the fact that I'm blocking off most of the build by the time I cage them in. So I'll have to play around with it. And I also have little tunnel that goes towards a village. That way I can just bring our men right through the back. Or, well, actually, I did do one other thing. The mob farm. I put carpets in it to get rid of the fucking spiders, because they got on my nerves, and fucking hate spiders. Alright, so I've done a little bit. This room is now turning into a villager area. I don't know why he keeps getting happy. But, I'm gonna start with, like, librarians over here, and then turn this into farmers. And I started on an auto melon farm and realized I don't have any quartz. So it looks like it's time for some nether adventures. And I'm gonna do all that off camera, but gonna get the nether quartz. Might look around for some blazes. We'll see how that goes and go from there. Literally the only thing I have to say for this one is that I'm back from the nether. I got a few stacks of quartz and some blaze rods. So now I can get me an e-chest or two, and then I can also work on the stuff that I needed nether quartz for. So yeah, that's about it. It feels so nice having an e-chest. It's got a lot of junk in it now. It'll clean up more once I've got some shulkers. Once I finish up here, I'll end up working towards getting good gear and going to the end. And that's really the goal of this base, is just to set me up to get an elytra. But no, the main goal of this base is to get all my gear together to prepare to get elytra and shulkers. And to go out in the end, and I want to prepare better than I did for some of the other servers. I can't even really remember if I went to the end on uneasy. But on Simply, I had built a base, and I'd like to have more options to do a base than I did then. Having a lot of dirt to be able to do stuff with, and then maybe multiple different types of saplings and foods to grow. But yeah, this base is really just to set up for that, and if it's still here when I get back, which I don't fully expect, because I plan to be in the end when this video will release, so the main thing is just going to be getting the elytra. I have no idea how far I'm going to have to go. I would expect to go anywhere from a few hundred, I mean, not a few hundred, anywhere from a few thousand to 100,000 is kind of what I'm expecting. But it's hard to tell. I've never used an auto crafter before, but this thing's pretty sweet. I will admit, it took me way longer than I thought to figure this out. And I know I can use like lecterns and composters and stuff, but I'm lazy, so I just went with the redstone and the torch. But now I'm getting to a point where I need to just prettify things, because God, this fucking room looks like shit. Everything about it just looks like a fucking turd, and I hate it. But there's you an update. Dude, that fucking trident made me jump 2 foot out of my fucking chair, Jesus Christ. I added pumpkins. And I got this awesome villager that takes both. This one still only takes the melons, and for some reason sometimes he takes a fucking year to reload his trades. I'm hoping this one will do better where he has both, that way I can flip-flop. Like, I don't even know if I'll need all 6 to be farmers. We'll have to see. I don't know if my rates are high enough for that. No, I just gotta keep re-rolling trades. I can't remember if I said it. I've got Silk Touch, and I've got Mending now. And I was re-rolling this guy and got distracted with the pumpkins, I think. I feel like I'm making good progress. I just need, like, Trying to think what all I'd want. Protection, unbreaking, efficiency. That'd be 3 more. Uh, and maybe just some other. I don't know if I'm going for full sets or just like give me at least the protection and the unbreaking, the efficiency, the mending. Sharpness would be good. Have a good sword. This one's gonna be a really short clip because I named it Creeps Cove. I think that's a fitting name. And look, there's even half a creeper on this side too. I'm nearly ready for the end. I've got the small villager hall done. Pumpkins, melons, whatever. Armor hall at least has prop 4, mending, unbreaking. And then I have feather falling for the boots as well, so I hopefully don't kill myself as badly. Ender chest is looking decent. The books take up a lot of space, but these bundles are helping with a lot. Like, I've got a bunch of different crops in here, and then random junk in between them and stuff like that. This empty slot's going to be for lava bucket. I made an alright sword. It's just got unbreaking, mending, and sharpness. Pickaxe has decent enchantments. I'd like to put efficiency on this one. And then maybe mending on the shovel. And maybe the same for the axe. There's a hole in the back of this, but we're not going to talk about it. Oh, and I used cobblestone as filler on the bottom. We're not going to talk about that either. It's done. The base is done, and it is beautiful. I don't think you can see the mobs. They were spawning up there when I was finishing the head. No, I just think it's beautiful. I think this turned out to be an awesome base. I love the old statues I used to build, and it's cool bringing them back and then mixing them with the new stuff like cherry logs and this and that. But on that note, that's pretty much it for this place. My next step is going to be going to the end. I have basically everything, I think. There's like 1 or 2 more things that I'd like. Like, I'm going to get a couple books for the elytra I get. But I don't know, I'm hoping 3 stacks of gunpowder. That'd be 9 stacks of rockets. I'm hoping that by the time I get far enough to find an elytra, that 9 stacks of rockets would be enough to get me more elytra, but we'll see. We'll see. I assume I'm gonna find shulkers before I would elytra, just because, I mean, I know when I end bust, I don't give a fuck about killing every single shulker, and especially now that you can farm shulkers. So we'll just have to see. With this inventory full of junk, I believe it's time to say goodbye. At least for now. I plan to come back here after I leave the end, but I also, when I go in the end, I plan on posting this video, which could mean the end of it. I'm sure I've showed enough terrain. Either that chunk or this chunk. I mean, one of them's a seed that can be cracked, and I'm sure I've showed enough terrain for it, so like I said, I don't expect this place to necessarily be here, but it'd be awesome if it was. I could just come back, organize some stuff, maybe grab a few more villager things, and then head off to the next place after this, but we'll see when I get back from the end if it's here. Hell, I might see screenshots. I might not even have to. I'm gonna head towards the portal. I already know where one is. It's, I'm not gonna say close, but one of the closer ones to here. I haven't looked at the actual, like, map to see which one would be the closest. Hell, I know that there's like, what, 140, 150 of them known. So, I mean, there could be one right there deep underground or some shit and me not know about it. I think my end chest is getting as good as it can, so let's get the hell out of here. Well, I've arrived. This is the end of this episode. I'm gonna kill myself for making that joke, but anyway. Here's to hoping I don't die the second I go in here. All I know is, don't go positive X when I get in. I've got cold feet. I'm worried someone's gonna be there already, but... or someone's gonna be close to a portal. But we'll see.